Yeah, I can always judge. I always tell people I can always judge if I really like a song because if I'm in my car, I
Yeah.
pretend I'm in the band, and that song I was
Yeah.
like pretending I was in the band. I was like, "Yeah, I'm the drummer
Yeah.
now." And then when the bass comes,
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
that
yeah.
all
I
the
see.
time. I don't know why.
That's really cool. Well, no worries.
Alibis. That's a cool band name.
Thank you. It was definitely something I thought was going to be kind of fun and unique. Um, yeah, and surprisingly, it wasn't taken. So I don't know how that happened. I got lucky, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. When I looked you up on YouTube, I saw another band called The Alibis.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
probably know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was. Yeah, there was the Alibis, but I think it's like some country guy.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think they're a little older. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but that was like the only one. And then there was like some other people that had names like Alibis and Lies or something weird. I can't completely remember what it was, but it was funky. So I just was like, okay, all right. I like Alibis better than the Alibis anyway, because you just have like it's more, I think it's more mysterious and exciting.
Absolutely. It sounds way cooler.
Yes.
You wouldn't call it like the corn or well,
Right.
you have the
Right,
tones, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, actually that's a really good point. I never even thought of that, but yeah, yeah, you definitely would not call it that, right? So I was like, no, that's kind of lame. And that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah. I mean, no offense to any other band out there that has that, but I mean, it didn't make sense for us anyway. So I was like, no, no, no. So yeah,
Right on. I saw speaking of YouTube, I saw on you guys played the Viper Room, right? Like there's a
yeah,
video of you
yeah,
guys playing. That's super cool.
yes.
I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, the Viper Room's really cool. It's one of those kind of iconic places. I actually thought it was going to be shut down for a minute. There was this big like thing where it was going to be shut down, and then luckily it isn't. But yeah, it's a really iconic place. It's a really cool like intimate room. That's kind of why they call it the Viper Room.
Mhm.
But it is it's I don't know, it's definitely somewhere that every band has definitely played. So
Right.
we
There's so
actually
much
have,
history.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We have a show actually randomly tomorrow at the House of Blues. We got asked at the
Oh,
last minute, so
cool.
we're gonna be playing at the House of Blues in Anaheim too. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very excited about it. And we have, what else do we have? We played the Whiskey a while ago, and then
Mhm.
it's such a new band. We have like only a handful of shows under our, I mean, us all as musicians obviously have played a ton of places separately, but as a band, we've had like maybe 5 shows now. So it's a birthing of a new thing. It's a new
Right.
project. And so yeah.
Yeah, I
But
was
we were.
I was watching live footage of you guys. You have a really good band. I mean, everybody sounds
Thank
really
you.
good. I
Thank
played
you.
drums pretty much my whole life. I should be better than I am, but your drummer is killer. He's tight. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's Cameron. He's super talented and super tall.
Is he?
He is 6'4", but I think that's how he can like get at everything. And he's so good. Very, very talented. Very, very, I'm very lucky to have him. Super talented guy. So
How
yeah.
hard is it creating a set list with you only have, a few songs. Do you do songs from your solo album work as
Yeah.
well? Live?
Yeah. So we only have a couple songs out, but we definitely have a bunch of other songs. So we just haven't released them yet. So we are secretly playing those live.
Oh,
We are
cool.
playing those live, even though like people don't. I don't think people know that. I've never told anyone that actually. But yeah, so we're using a bunch of the songs that we haven't released yet. But and then we also are playing 2 songs from my solo stuff. So kind of the more piano esque driven stuff is super my solo stuff that I did, and it's really fun because I think people really like kind of seeing like a change up and just also playing piano and not just like being up front. It's nice to kind of have a
Mm.
little diversity live. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's always
No,
really fun.
What songs? Because I was checking out some of your solo songs. What songs are you playing live from your, from your solo songs?
So I'm playing the one song "Unworthy." It's
Yeah.
like unworthy. It's a big, like, kind of big epic kind of. I don't know. I kind of call it my Lady Gaga song because it's like this, or actually even like an Elton John vibe. Like it's
Oh
that big
yeah.
piano driven kind of like big pop, huge chorus kind of sound. So that was like super fun for me to play, and then yeah, I love that one. And then and the other one is, oh, More Than a Pretty Face, which
Oh yeah.
that one, actually that was not one of my favorite songs, but the band really loves that song, and they're like, dude, we could make this like the coolest rock song ever, because it doesn't none of them have guitar. Obviously, it was like, it was released at that time, but it's really good with guitar. I feel like I was just getting my footing at that point of writing, and I wasn't thinking that far ahead yet. I was just trying to really hone my skills as a writer. But yeah, but we played that live and it's epic. It's so good. It totally changed my mind of like it being like the solo thing without guitar and all these other things. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna yeah, but even just adding, I was listening to Unworthy, which is a great song and
yeah,
video too, but just the
yeah,
thought of adding, like, guitars and drums to it sounds cool. Would you ever, like, re-record
yeah.
that?
Yeah, so everyone actually has asked me that. They're asking about Unworthy. They're like, "Are you gonna re-release that?" And I was like, the band really wants to, and so I mean I'm not gonna not do it. I mean, it's definitely, it's, yeah, I mean, I feel like I should,
Yeah.
it's definitely, it's different than the other stuff. It's not, it's a little bit more pop element, but I mean, it's still like it could be definitely a rock kind of pop song, and nice change up also, again, adding that guitar and stuff, and originally my guitar player Chris, when I was auditioning for like a guitarist, I kind of I reached out to a bunch. Well, I asked a bunch of guitarists to kind of like write something to that song, and that was a big reason why I chose my guitarist that I did, because he wrote so like epic guitar parts to Unworthy and also to the other one, and they were like so cohesive with what I already had, and a lot of other guitarists, they like they ran over the song, kind of. They made it like more of a, just kind of more,
Yeah.
it's guitar driven but just a little different. So yeah, it's I definitely think we want to re-release it, if that's what you're asking. Yes.
No, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
Have you
thanks.
always been,
Yeah.
like, a good your songwriting's amazing. Have you always had that gift? I mean, is that something you kinda crafted over the years?
Okay, yeah. So I guess, yeah. Well, I how do I answer this? Yeah, I was
I'm sorry.
always, no, 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 no. I'm thinking. So yeah, I always loved, even when I was very young, melodies. Like I could always hear them, even when I was a kid. I was really drawn to writing music, and again, I had a background in theater. That's what my parents wanted me to do. They wanted to be in musical theater and be on Broadway and all these things. But I
Oh, that's
really
cool.
loved. Yeah, yeah, it was cool, and that's why I think I'm obviously very theatrical. But I really loved. I wanted to be more than just a singer. I wanted to be able to construct songs as well, and I would always hear melodies in my head, even as a young girl. And, I started constructing like lyrics first and things like that. But the melodies was what really led to the major continuance of really committing myself to writing music as well. I could hear that, but then after I started like starting to kind of, I started crafting just melodies. I was in a band a long, long time ago, where I had only I could only they would only give me like songs, and I could only, like, they'd be instrumentals. I wouldn't be able to craft, like, I wouldn't be able to do any kind of like chord progressions or anything like that of what I had heard. So I was given the just tracks to write melodies on. And that's when I kind of learned, like, I was kind of like, I always thought I could write melodies, I could hear them, but I just never really was given an opportunity. So
Yeah.
um yeah, and so then I started writing that way. I started writing a bunch of like hooks for different people, would give me different stuff, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'm good at this. And then that
Yeah.
kind of led to really like focusing and like learning how to program music, sitting down and be like, okay, I have to teach myself this because it's like a barrier if you don't know it. It's just it's difficult. Especially if you like you can hear things in your head and you're just you got to get it out in some way. You really got to kind of break through and force yourself to sit down and learn the technical stuff. Even though I initially hated it, but now I really love it. So
Did you grow up playing like any instruments like guitar? I know you play piano too. I guess you just do it on piano, right? As you're
yeah,
writing.
yeah, I didn't really I didn't gravitate towards guitar just because I had to because I studied opera and we had to learn piano. That was like number one thing. Like a singer for the very strict upbringing I had with opera, you had to learn piano. Like if you didn't know piano, like you're not gonna be able to. They're intertwined. You're not gonna be able to really understand a lot of music theory and other aspects of music. So
Yeah, no pressure.
yeah, well, it was a ton of pressure. Yeah, right, yeah. No, it was a ton. I had to. I was in constant competitions for opera and for and piano, and had to really each year we had like levels, and I had to graduate the levels, and so it's this thing called certificate of merit, and so I graduated luckily, but
Yeah.
it was just a ton of work as a child. I really loved it though. I loved singing so much. And as I got in my preteens, it's like, I don't want to take these tests, but I'm really glad I did as an adult because like, I don't know, I can say, well, I did that. And it's also cool because you can kind of connect with other musicians that know music theory and things like that. So it's very helpful.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, I would be so
Yeah.
intimidated with people. Like I play music my whole life, but anytime people are like know any kind of theory or anything, I'm like,
Yeah.
it goes over my
Yeah,
head.
you're like, no, yeah, I know. And you know what's funny is like it never goes like in the writing process, none of that goes into anything that I write. Like the any kind of writing is just all purely emotion based. Like it's emotion and whatever I'm trying to say in the moment. I never say, let me write something in A minor or it
Right,
just
right.
goes on feel, you know what I mean? Like it just goes
Yeah.
on feel. Yeah. So that technical aspect is totally thrown out the window at that point. It's just, yeah, yeah. It's just more like I guess helpful if you're talking to another musician. You're like, oh, what's this key in or whatever, Then it's helpful, but I don't know
Right on.
everything either. Like I mean, yeah. So, but
Do
yeah,
you do you still listen to opera music? Like, is that
I
something you jam to
do.
when you come? Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
listen to? Like, what's the big opera? There's one dude I always see. I just can't think of his name. He's like the most. He's like the Jimi Hendrix of opera. I can't. I don't know his name. I'll have to add it in there.
Oh my God, I'm blanking. Uh, I want to
I'm blanking
say,
too.
oh my God. Oh, wait. Well, wait, he's Italian. Andre Pacelli. Thank
Yes.
you. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
actually
Good
sang for
job.
him. Yeah, yeah. I actually sang for him as a young girl when I was
Wow.
yeah, when I was I think I was like 11 or 12 and I was in a play at the cuz I did professional theater as a young girl. I did and he was in this opera that I was in, which was La Boheme, and I was just like a side, stupid little character, in this play at the Amundsen. But he was like this, like he was already
Yeah.
bigger than life then, and I asked him, "Hey, would it be okay if I sang for you?" And at one point, and he was like, "Yeah." So my mom and I went, and I came to his dressing room like at one of the breaks, and he had a piano player already ready to go and a piano in his dressing room.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and I sang. I can't remember what I sang. I'd have to ask my mom, but I did, and he was really he was taken aback, and he was like, "Wow, this is really good," and I felt really cool. Nothing else ever happened, but it was really cool,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you like terrified? Were you nervous? I mean, obviously you did well. So I mean, you got through the nerves. Or maybe
Well,
you
I
weren't
mean,
nervous.
no, I think, I think because I performed so much as a kid, I did
Mm.
so much theater and,
Oh
for
yeah.
those, and for the tests that, we have to take, part of the adjudication is you have to sing like 10 opera songs, and they have to be within different periods of time. And so, and then they have like three people that will vote and decide whether or not you're good, and or whether you can pass that level and whatever. So between that every year, and I went to an arts high school and doing theater because I loved it so much, I had to do theater all the time, um I just got very comfortable performing.
Yeah. Yep.
um yeah. But I mean, I actually get very nervous now because being in a band is so much different than being on stage in a show. It's the
Yeah.
same, but it's different. And I think being in a band, and the reason I really like it also more than I did theater, was because there's an honesty, and I get to be myself. And that to me is like so important, because for years I grew up being a character, and
Yeah.
but in the band I get to bear who I am and my soul. And so that's exciting for me, because while it's terrifying also, because you're seeing
Yeah.
like and knowing so many deep aspects of myself, which is, it's very hard to sometimes put yourself on display like that. But I really love it. It's just so freeing for me, and I love being able to express myself and tell who I am, in the story. So yeah.
Yeah, when you're talking about Baron like that song you have, "Mother," I mean, that's like a
Yeah.
super personal song. Is that hard to play
Yeah.
live? I mean, does it
Yeah,
that's a sweet
it
song.
is. Yeah. It definitely hasn't always been easy, because it's so emotional. It was about my experience in a lockdown facility, as you probably know. And it was a very emotional time for me. And so, like, even revisiting it and like thinking about it, it was, oh man, it is really, it's still hard, and but there's like something about it that I feel like is like really freeing, being able to talk about it. Because to be honest, Scott,
Mhm.
I was absolutely mortified to release that song. I was so scared. And, I've never been more honest, with anybody ever.
Mhm.
And I felt like it was a major thing I really wanted to discuss with this new band, and the excitement, and I'm really excited about the music and when I'm writing. That was a major thing I really had as an artist, to be like really truthful with myself, to put out there, because it was just such a big thing in my life. I mean, I was locked away for a year, and almost a year, but
How old
in
were
a
you when you were
very
locked down? I'm sorry, I
I
didn't mean to
was
interrupt you.
oh no, you're fine. I was 17, and I didn't get to graduate school. I went to this art school in Orange County, and I was taken at 4 in the morning by two escorts who showed up in my room, and they said, "We can either do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way."
No! Hey, no! Hey, great, you come with us upstairs. Let it go, Sonny. We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
The easy way.
Hard way was, so I was like, like, what's the hard way? And I'm already like, where the hell am I going, but they were going to handcuff me if that was the hard way. So I decided to go the easy way, because I was scared, obviously, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't want
Yeah.
to be handcuffed. So, and then they drove me all the way to Utah in the backseat with the child locks on, and in the backseat, so you can't get out, right?
Mhm.
And I was there for 6 months till I got to even see my mom. And it was like, that experience, to be honest, was like, I have never experienced such a deep level of sadness, like of just I there's a great word for it and I'm blanking on it, but just so at to the bottom of, I don't know, of I don't even know. It was so bad. I don't know how I was able to like mentally get out of it. I thought like a big part of it was that, I was performing so much and I loved it so much. I was, and I'm so, imagine being so dedicated, and I'm taking all these tests, and doing all these things for music, and going to, doing professional theater as a young kid, and then that's like ripped away from me, it was devastating because I thought I lost everything. And you know, it I later learned like it was like a serious level of like mind control tactics, I guess, that these a lot of these places use. And Paris Hilton actually went to a place very similar to mine. I don't know if you know that story.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah, that she was
Yeah,
probably a teenager when all that happened.
yeah, hers is in Provo, and it was a big thing. Hers was in Provo, but mine was in Laverkin, and we actually went to the actual place to see if they would let us shoot there. I mean, at that point,
Mm.
I hadn't even been comfortable talking about it, so I was like nervous to shoot the video there if it was even going to be an option. But they kicked us off the property. They
They
wouldn't allow
did.
us to.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That was another time where I was going to get in trouble. So they were like, we're going to call the cops. I was like, all right, we're going to leave. But no, it was shut. It's been shut down thus since. Someone that has a motel now bought it, and he just doesn't want the bad press. So,
Mm. We
I get
we
that.
You sound like when you're in school when you're a teenager, you would sound super busy and you had things
Mm.
going for you. I mean, that just so wild that your mom would send you to some place like that. You know, because
Well,
when I was a teenager, I was way worse than you.
well, okay, I did do some stuff that, I mean, okay, so starting out when I was a young kid, I obviously was very disciplined. But as I started getting, this is like when I was starting to get into like my preteens and then my teens, like right before I turned 17, I was more rebellious. I was, I'm learning to be a woman. I wanted to hang out with boys. I did experiment with drugs. I wasn't terrible. I wasn't like doing any kind of crazy drugs consistently though, like where it was super bad. I think my mom was just really, but I was bad. I wasn't terrible though. Like I just like for me, I feel like I look at it and I'm like, okay, I feel like I was doing a lot of the things that most teenagers do. I hung out with boys. I did sneak out and hang out with boys, and I did try drugs, but
Yeah.
I think everybody tries stuff, and
Right.
and
Yeah.
goes through that. We all do. But I think my mom also saw that I had a talent, and she was frightened that I was going to throw it away. And
Mm.
and she, we weren't getting along at all. We're both very strong personalities. So it wasn't ideal at that time. Yeah, it was like, oh no, and so I think she was just really scared that I was going to throw my life away. And even though I didn't see it as like a reason to go there, I thought more like, if anything, we should probably have just like maybe some one-on-one talks and maybe therapy or something. But you know she grew up from a different time than we are
Mm.
now. Like, it was harder, and she was afraid. So I understand her perspective now as an adult. Like then I was just like, what, I hate you,
Right. Yeah.
um I felt, a big part of me felt betrayed, because I just didn't really know why that would happen completely. But I do understand from my mom's perspective, and we've talked about it a lot since, especially after releasing a song about it, that
Mm.
she definitely, she didn't know. Well, first of all, she didn't know anything that went on at the lockdown facility,
You didn't
which,
talk to her at
you
all, like while you're there.
I tried to tell her, but actually what they do, and you can actually like see this on a lot, there's like some forums for like survivors of this place and stuff like that. And they talk about, they teach the parents that basically your kid is going to tell you everything to get you to want to pull them out of here. They literally, it's like they literally are so smart in the way that they do it. They told my mom, that they're going to tell you all these things and say how awful it is, and that basically whatever it is that they can do. And the only way that you can communicate with your parent is through an actual a letter. You're not allowed to talk to them alone on the phone, nothing. You can talk to them, it's like once a month on the phone, but it's with the therapist in the room, and it's a very short thing. So if and the thing is if I said anything in front of the therapist, what he'll do is you'll immediately get what's called a cat and be taken to either isolation or a study hall type situation where you're listening to tapes that for no reason and taking tests over and over again. So they punish you and they read all of your letters as well. So if you're writing to your parents, get me out of here, etc., they read those, and you can also become like a staff buddy where you have to stay next to staff. You can't go anywhere more than 5 feet away from that. It's just it's crazy, really. I think, it's been shut down. That whole company has been
It
shut
has
down. They
been.
had a bunch of other ones. Yeah, but the thing is that, like, I guess new ones have popped up under different names because there's been so many lawsuits about it, and so many kids have taken them to court, and parents just like my mom had no idea of what was going on there. And so they've been sued multiple times. But I guess, from what I've learned from other people, is that they created a new, I guess, umbrella company under something else, and then they started other ones. So I don't know. Mine is not obviously work. It's not together anymore. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you close to your
Yeah.
mom now, or do you guys talk now? Are you good?
Oh yeah. No, my mom and I are super, super close, to be honest, she's like the only person that has ever completely supported me being an artist. So it's like, as I was young, she was the only one that was like, my daughter has a talent. Like, I'm gonna help her. I'm gonna help. My mom paid for all my lessons. She helped me be in shows and everything I wanted to do as an artist. Like, a lot of people, parents will be like, "Oh, don't do that as a career," or like, that doesn't, you don't make money, or it's difficult, or whatever. My mom was always gun ho about it, and I think that's, she saw, again, like, I know she saw I had a gift, and so she always was the most supportive person. I just think I went through a phase where, like, I didn't want to, like, listen to her, and no kid does, but
Right. Yeah.
we're the best of friends. She comes to almost all my shows in my band. So she does, and she's very, very proud of me, and she said the song is really, really good. So,
That's awesome.
it's just, yeah, we have a great relationship. It was just like an experience that I think, like, I definitely should talk about, just so that, like, people don't send their kids to those places, because they make it sound like it's like, mine was behavioral modification, a program. Paris's was, something I read about hers was like, it was the wilderness modification. So she actually had to, like, live in the wilderness, and you can't, like, they make you do all this stuff. Whereas mine was in, like, this lockdown facility in this manor, and it's supposed to make you. It's like boot camp, but, like, crazy. Like, and yeah. So I definitely learned a lot, I think, and that made me mature younger. I feel like at 17, 18, because I went through such a traumatic experience, and I will say a very positive thing that happened while I was there was, you know, even at 17, I didn't really know, obviously, like no one does, who you are or anything like that. And I think I really had to really learn about myself deeply, that I didn't know myself at all. Like, I didn't know my favorite food. I didn't know what color I like just stupid simple things that, like, most people kind of know about themselves. And I wasn't even, like, very close with myself to where, like, I knew a lot. And so there was an awareness that, being taken away and being like that for so long really made me more conscious and aware of myself, and understand myself a bit more. And I really think that that was an essential part of me growing up, because I wouldn't be the artist I am today if I didn't know who I am, sort of. And then that experience really made me, and it made me stronger. I would never want to do it again. I'm not condoning it, but I am saying it
Yeah.
was helpful in some aspects, so.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's you got some positive out of that. Are you friends with any other people you met while you were there? Like people your age that were forced to be there?
Yeah. You know, it's well, I was when I first got out, like a couple years later, you're not allowed to ever be talked to. That's another thing. They don't allow you to talk to anyone once you're out of the program. It's like in a contract. You cannot be friends with anyone. They don't give you numbers, nothing. And so it's very difficult to find these kids that were also in there with you. Luckily, one of the girls found me on Facebook some years ago, and we had like a little. Our group was called C Group actually, and we had a C Group reunion. Uh, and it was
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Yeah, we all got to hang out and just kind of laugh about stuff, and most of us weren't terribly messed up, so that was helpful. There's a lot of terrible stories of things that happened to other people that I don't know if they came back from, but it was very positive. I haven't talked to them in years, but yeah, that was a really cool thing, and I think like a very healing aspect to hang out with them, and yeah, so it was good. It was good.
So Brian Welch from Korn, he wrote in his book that he sent his daughter Janaea to a place. I don't know the name of it, but it sounds so similar. Like
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah, but
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
if it's what you went to, but it's she didn't want to go, and he just felt he was kind of at the bottom.
Yeah,
I live in Corn and all that. But I'm
yeah.
curious if that's similar to what you experienced, because
I don't
he said in his
know.
book that she wrote letters. That's I just remember him saying that.
Wow. Okay, well then probably. I mean, most likely because I mean they have these all over the place. It's for like difficult kids, and I get that. Like I don't have any kids, so I do understand. I was not easy. Okay, I wasn't when I got into my teens. I wasn't, but I wasn't like
Yeah.
doing anything like crazy. Like I don't know, but I think that like probably parents feel like the end of their rope. They don't know what else to do. And so they probably do think that there's going to be some positive with that. As far as like that, I mean, from my perspective, there was some positive, like I mentioned, but overall, that was only based on me being alone and being able to like understand who I am. Not there was no therapy that was there. It wasn't.
Oh yeah. Wow.
No, and the other thing that's really interesting is none of the counselors are accredited. They don't have to be. They never went to school to be a therapist, nothing that was there. Only yeah, in the
Yeah.
state of Utah, only the program itself has to be accredited, not the people working there. So, yeah, and I learned that later, which makes sense because they did a lot of terrible tactics like you're in therapy, but they encourage you to kind of lash out at your fellow group member if you think they're doing something wrong. So it's very like, there was no like, okay, I'm going through this and any kind of like explanation, or of what that person's going through. It was more of kind of just beating people down into their place, like, like breaking
Yeah.
down to build back up in a way that wasn't like really healing per se. You know what I mean? So at least that's my experience. So
Yeah, it sounds like a cult. Almost sounds like a Netflix
yeah.
special, Like
Yeah,
they should make
I
one,
know. Yeah,
like a
no, I
series.
know. Yeah, like they really should. I mean, I luckily was only there 9 months, and it was a little weird coming out of it. Like I got into school in New York for college, for an art school, and I couldn't go. Like going from like being locked down to like immediately being in New York, it was like I couldn't. So, but that was a blessing because the positive thing was is I wasn't supposed to be in New York. I was supposed to stay in LA and really focus on songwriting and be in a band. So
Yeah.
it worked out for the best, but yeah, I mean, I don't know where he sent her. Maybe she had a better experience. I personally wouldn't do that if I had a kid just because I went through it. So I know at least, what I went through was not beneficial in a lot of ways. Yeah.
That would be cool to have, like, if I could get you and her on together and you guys could like
Yeah.
talk, that'd be awesome.
That'd be fascinating. Yeah, I would love to do
Yeah.
that. So if you want to, I'm all about it. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
wrote one of your solo songs was "Hey Mama." So
Yeah.
how is this different from Mother? Mother's more. How are they different? Mama and Mother.
Yeah. So that song, that's because my mom and I have always well, we've always had our ups and downs because my mom is my mom is everything that I've looked up to as a kid. My mom's a strong woman. She was a single mom for a long time. And she's just always wanted the best for me. And I think in a lot of ways I didn't understand or see that. And a lot of times I am my mother's daughter. I'm difficult. And and with that song, we were going through a really rough time, and I wanted her to know that I truly deeply love her for always her support as me as an artist, and just being there for me always as an artist, and never like giving up on me. And I think at that point I was you know I think we were fighting or arguing. I can't remember exactly, but I really felt like I needed to write something to her to make her know how much I really do appreciate her, even if
Oh,
like we don't always see eye to eye. That like she's a she's truly only always been like my biggest support. So it's like it's hard because you have another very strong personality, and I'm a little bit more free and like I'm a little more wild. I'm a musician.
right.
So, but and my mom's a little bit more, she's very disciplined, and she gets things done a certain way. And but we both, the outcome is great, and I learned that work ethic and discipline from her as well. It's just I'm very sensitive also, because I'm an artist, so I'm very sensitive. And so there's just kind of a learning about personalities. But that was for her because I wanted her to know that like I deeply do love her and care about her, regardless of our not seeing eye to eye sometimes. You
I
know.
love that. I can relate to that so much because when I was a teenager, I was a handful as well, and I
Yeah.
didn't get along with mom. Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
and now we're
Yeah.
closer than ever. So that I can
Yeah.
relate to that.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. For a long time I was like, "Ugh, I'm so mad," but I don't care anymore about that. I don't have kids. I don't really know what that's like, but I do love her, and I appreciate everything she's done for me. So yeah.
Do you do you are you is your father still around? Like I feel like Dr. Phil right now.
No, 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 it's okay. That's okay. No, no. And I think that was another reason, my mom was, I mean, I talk to my dad sometimes, yeah, but he hasn't really like been in my life at all,
Oh, I'm
really.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I see my dad's a really charming, charismatic person. He's very funny. But he had his own, he had some issues with alcohol and other things, and just my parents separated at a very young age. So, and that's why like my mom seeing like my skill and what I could do and stuff, I think she was just even harder on me, because I didn't really have like you know um well, I didn't have a dad, and she wanted me to succeed and be okay in life, because life's hard.
Yeah.
Life's
Right.
very hard. But yeah. But I have a stepdad, and he's amazing and always been super supportive of me as an artist as well. So, that came into the picture a little later. But yeah, my dad definitely wasn't around. He always is excited when he sees me singing, and doing playing shows and anything. But he just hasn't
That's cool.
really. Yeah, so yeah.
Not to go too far back, but I'm just curious, like you said your mom's really strict, and she reminds me of my
Yeah.
mom, so that's why I'm asking this.
Yeah.
Was her mom strict on her, or is that where it comes from, or was her mom not around as much?
I think
Or do
so.
you
No,
know?
no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. My grandma was I think my grandma was a little strict too. I think my family grew up pretty poor, and they really had to work for like everything that they had. And so there was there's. I mean, when you don't have a lot of money and you're poor, there's hardship and there's stress, right? And there's a lot of things where you have to like really buckled down, and there isn't a lot of room for mistakes, because well, at least I think that would what it would be. So I think from my family coming kind of from nothing, and my grandma really struggling and having those kids, my mom learned a lot, that like she had to really buckle down and make something for herself as well. And so that sort of I learned that kind of discipline through my mom, and discipline, especially with my art, because I did not want to sit down and play piano. Sometimes I was like, oh no. Or I used to think, I was like, oh, when I was a young kid, I was like, oh, I'm good at singing. I don't need to do this. So that was so stupid, right? Like you don't want to sit down and do any kind of the work. You just want to do the like fun and whatever. But
Yeah.
singing is work as much as like anything else is. You have to learn techniques. It's not easy. And So but I did learn that work ethic from them. And I don't think I don't think I would even, not that I'm completely where I want to be on my dream, but I feel like I'm definitely on my path. And I think that skill, like actually that skill, of that discipline is how this band was even made. Because when I first found my guitarist, I was very regimented. I was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. This isn't a party band. This is nothing like that. I'm going to write these, and you and I are going to come together. We're going to meet 3 times a week or whatever. I don't remember. Sometimes it was 4, and it's like till 3 or 4 in the morning, and we're going to get these songs done, because that's the way that we have to build this band in order to even get band members. And sometimes if the songs aren't good, you're going to have to rewrite them, and so it's a ton of work. And I really had a high standard of what I wanted the music to be and how good I wanted it to be. And so and he'll tell you that. He'll be like, she ran it like a I'd be like, oh, you're late, I'm just kidding. But no, but I learned that of just, I mean, I'm not like super like mean, but
No,
you know
no,
what I
I
mean.
get
I
you.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, because there is a discipline with music. You do, like, the creativity all comes from the writing, and that's got to be not robotic and not regimented at all. But the discipline of the actual tasks, there has to be that there. Otherwise, you could be great, but like if you don't get anything done, there's no point. It's not going to be a
Yeah.
career or whatever. So there's a lot of work ethic that goes into it. And I think learning that from my mom and my grandma and my aunt even too, is coming from that kind of background. You gotta really be on your game, and especially for something so difficult. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you ever miss
Yeah.
theater? Would you ever go back to theater just for fun?
Oh, I definitely want to do. Okay, so I definitely like once I feel like we're at a great place. I would love to like do like something just something like on Broadway would be
Right.
cool. I mean I definitely like I love it, and I have such a blast doing it. I mean, and some of the little videos that I've done like one Disney princess one where it was really funny, of Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
I'll
cool.
show it. I'll show it to you. It's super over the top and theatrical, but yes, I have a blast doing that. It's really fun, and definitely, once the band gets kind of to where where we want it to be, I would love to branch out and do that. But I wouldn't want to do it all the time. But I would definitely love to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
like yeah, definitely, for sure, yeah.
I think that's so cool. I remember growing up, I think I saw Annie and Wicked Wisdom and all these plays. I love that stuff growing up, seeing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I love it. I mean, even now, I mean, it's so fun to watch, and that's like where a lot of like, I mean, that's where everything I started writing and all of that kind of drew from. So it's like the musicals are great. Like they're super fun. I love how they tell stories, and I gotta say, like, some of the most talented people I've ever met on the face of the planet are Broadway actors and singers. I mean, they can do everything. They can sing, they can dance, they can act. They're so talented. So I have mad respect for them. And Yeah, I think it's seeing theater live is amazing. Not a lot of Californians actually go and see theater, but in New York
Oh
they
yeah.
do. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I love your other song. I'm going all over the place. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't care. Yeah, you're fine. You're
But I
totally
just thought of
fine.
this. Dark Side is that's the first song I've heard that you guys did, and I remember
Yeah,
hearing it, I was like, wow, this chorus is so good. The video's
yeah,
great. Did you guys
yeah.
write that song first? Was that the first song
Yeah, that was
for Alibis?
well, actually, well, we have no, that was not the first. We wrote like 4 other songs that haven't been released yet before Dark Side. And
Oh,
actually, Mother was written, I think even the skeleton of it was written 5 years ago. And Chris, my guitarist, heard it. I played him it, and I was like, oh, that's when I was just trying to get like better at crafting music, and like the production wasn't there or anything, but all the melodies and the chord progression, like it was all written on piano and had some stuff. And he was like, whoa, this is really good. And then I was like, I always held off on that song just because I didn't like the key it was in, and just some other stupid things. And he's like, no, this is really good. You need to do this. So that's actually how it came about. And I was actually really happy because that was like a dream come true to kind of express myself about that subject. But Dark Side was not the first. It was actually the last. But we were like, this song is the jam, and we were like, we need to release this one first, you know. So yeah, that song actually like was written while I was moving to LA. Like I lived in Orange County before, and I moved to LA. It was like in the middle of it. I was trying to finish it, but yeah, that song. I love that song. That song is great. I love that.
Yeah, I can always judge. I always tell people I can always judge if I really like a song because if I'm in my car, I
Yeah,
pretend I'm in the band. And that song, I was
yeah,
like pretending I was in the band. I was like, yeah, I'm the drummer
yeah.
now. And then when the bass drums,
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
that
yeah.
all the time. I don't know why.
That's really cool. Well, no, because you're like that's really cool because you're like sliding into like you're becoming kind of like being there, and you're like that's totally cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't do it if the song sucks.
Yeah, no,
It's just
totally.
about if
You'd be
I'm.
like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. Well, I feel cool now because then you
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like you're
I
like,
don't.
yes, this is what? No, that's really cool. No, I think it's awesome.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
awesome.
Are you
Yes.
are you guys gonna slowly put like an EP out eventually? Like once you get a
Yeah.
handful of songs out.
Yeah, so we're gonna be releasing a bunch of songs after the new year. We were gonna release them actually in December, but it's Christmas time, and it's kind of better to wait till after the new year. I'm dying to release the songs because like honestly,
I
like
bet.
I don't want just two songs out, it's like it's killing me. Because so many people also are just like, yeah, we want more music, and God, I want to give it to him, and but we're trying to do it the right way, and we want to wait till after the holidays, and so we're gonna do it in start releasing new songs in January, and then after we release the third one, then we're gonna do an EP. So
Are
yeah,
you guys doing this solo or do you got a record? Like, are you working with
no.
somebody?
So right now, since it's so new, we're just building. We're releasing
Yeah,
songs. We're doing it all. It's all
on your
self.
own.
Yeah, but I mean, eventually, we definitely want that. I think right now we're just kind of trying to really put out great music and like kind of like stake our claim,
No, no, no.
and then yeah, and then after that, like I feel like we'll definitely start reaching out, or other people reach out to us, whatever it is. But we also want to make sure it's the right thing, because we definitely want that kind of sound, and we don't want anyone meddling with the sound, or in anything like that, because we really enjoy it, and we think it's good. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because Elias was just saying from Nonpoint they're going independent now and how much
Oh, really?
they love it.
Wow.
But it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's but they
Yeah.
can But I
Yeah.
would love to see like yeah, I would love to see you guys release stuff like were
Yeah.
you guys gonna put this on vinyl? That'd be cool eventually, like maybe a vinyl or CD or
Y- Yeah. No.
cassette.
Yeah, I think that would be badass. Yeah, actually, we were just
Yeah, me
talking about
too.
vinyl. Yeah, we were just talking about vinyl, but cassette is actually kind of badass. Like, I think that's awesome
Yeah.
too. I just don't know how many people have cassette players, or if it would just be more of a nostalgic thing just to have it,
Well,
or I
Nonpoint.
don't know.
I keep talking about Nonpoint, but they released
No, it's good.
the cassette with the cassette player, and it said Nonpoint on it. It was like a combo,
That's
and you can
genius.
Bluetooth it. Yeah, I'll
Oh
have to
my
send it to you.
god, that you better send me that. That's so
Yeah,
cool. That's really
it is really
cool.
cool.
Yeah. No, definitely. We definitely want to do vinyl. That's for sure. But the cassette thing, I've thought about that, because like I have in the past, but I was just like, I didn't think about that, of actually giving like the actual cassette. That's really
Yeah,
smart. Um, but
and the
yeah, I
answer,
mean,
like, I never play the cassettes. I collect because all these new bands are putting out cassettes, and I just collect them because I'm a nerd, right? So
yeah,
I just
right,
sometimes I
right,
frame them or just it sits on my
yeah.
shelf.
Yeah. No, totally. And that's what other people were telling me. They were like, well, because they were someone else was telling me that vinyl actually is doing really well for a lot of artists,
Oh yeah,
and so I was like, oh, okay, well, people are listening to records now. They're like, no, they're just holding on to them. It's like it's nostalgic, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool too. I didn't really know that, but yeah, I think it's badass, and I think we definitely are going to do something like that for sure. We were talking about it, so, and you just gave me a
uh,
great idea, so.
oh yeah, yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
cool. I would totally buy that.
yeah,
You guys
yeah.
have you gonna put out merch and stuff like shirts?
Yeah,
That's
we're
cool.
gonna have we're gonna have merch after the new year. We already have
Oh
it
yeah,
being printed. Yeah, we're I can't even talk. We are already having it being printed. And yeah, we got everything in the works. We're just waiting for kind of the new year to be over so we can finally release everything. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so this is like the calm before the storm, like before everything goes
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. That's exactly it. So we're very excited. You don't understand. It's so annoying. Like, I feel like I'm sitting on both hands, like, oh my God, I just want to release the music and, but I can't. So, but yeah, yeah, all good things though after the new year. So
I
yeah.
can't wait. Are you guys touring at all? Or you guys got any shows lined up for the new year?
We definitely want to tour. That's like our definite goal after we release. We want to obviously release this music and then definitely start touring. But we have right now we just have a couple smaller shows, local shows. We have we're doing House of Blues tomorrow.
Oh yes.
Tomorrow,
Cool.
yeah, tomorrow at 11. And then we have another show at Madame Siam. That's December 28th, so that's here in LA. And then we're playing Orange County again at this place in Costa Mesa called the Tiki Bar. We're just really trying to get out there because it's, we obviously, we want to spread out. We don't want to play LA. We want to definitely start playing in Orange County and a bunch of other places up, up and down the coast would be great. And some other states, even like little short runs would be great. And then, we definitely want a full on tour. So yeah.
Are you gonna
Definitely.
stream any of these shows? Like, is it gonna be available for people like me in Georgia? I can
Yeah,
watch it.
actually, that's a really good idea. Well, oh, that was another thing. We are having a live stream actually, January. I will look at my calendar. It's January, um, uh, mid-January, but it's a live stream actually at this place in Escondido called Wildcat Studios, and they've asked us to come and do like a live stream. They do that with a lot of bands that they dig, and so we'll be down there, and you'll definitely be able to watch us then. So I'll definitely
Oh, that's
remind you
cool.
of that. Yeah,
Yeah, please
and
do.
then yeah, and then the other ones that'd be great to do some live streaming for. That's a great idea. Definitely, 100%. Might have to
Yeah,
do
man.
that too. Yeah. Yeah.
I got like one or two more questions. I'll be done.
Sure.
Inf- Influences. Who are your like big influences as far as singing?
Oh, okay. Well, when I was a kid, like, well, this sounds lame, but I mean, it's not lame. It's just not expected. Uh, I used to really love Mariah Carey just because, like, she
Yeah,
had
yeah,
this like crazy voice and like, she could like sing all these octaves. And I studied that. Her mom was an opera singer, and so like and I'm an opera singer, but yeah. And then I loved her, but as I got
that's
older, I
awesome.
really love. Yeah, thank you. And then I really loved Freddie Mercury. I was obsessed with him. Like, I thought he was really awesome. I loved how theatrical he was, and he sang like he was kind of all over the place with the vocals. Um, and who else? I really, she's more little different of a singer, but like I really like Tori Amos a lot. I thought she
Yeah,
was really cool. Like I was obsessed with Tori Amos and Fiona Apple. I loved all the piano
yeah.
player kind of singers. And then yeah, and then I mean I even liked I loved No Doubt and Gwen,
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
amazing.
a lot of those, yeah. Um who else? Let's see. I mean I loved a lot of the 90s music, so it was like
Me too. Yeah, that's what I grew up on.
yeah, yeah, so it was like Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails and Smashing Pumpkins and A Perfect Circle. Oh,
Oh
it's
yeah,
amazing. And Maynard and yeah, just a lot of that. But I mean, when I obviously like my big influences was like when I would look up to like major females because I'm a girl and I was trying to kind of I was being you, Scott. I was trying to catapult myself into pretending I was them, and
oh
then
yeah,
suddenly, and then I was like, "This is great. I want to do this. I can feel it. I'm here." So that's what I was
yeah.
projecting myself, into them. So yeah,
I totally did
yeah.
that when I was a kid. By the way, like when I was a kid, I went
Did you?
all out. Oh yeah,
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 yeah. I do that too. I still do that. So,
yeah, yeah.
you know, it's the way that same thing. I can vibe of whether, whatever it is. I'm like, do I want to do this? I'm going to pretend I'm kind of doing it. Does it feel right? Everything's based
Yeah.
on feeling, so Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, this is really embarrassing. When I was a kid, I like crisscross, so I wore my pants
Oh
backwards,
yeah.
and I
I
made a
love
rap
them. Yeah.
video.
No,
And my dad
no,
filmed
you
it.
made a rap video? Oh my
Oh yeah, yeah,
god.
yeah. From the living
I
room.
want to see
Yeah.
that video.
Oh yeah.
That's so
It's on
awesome.
TikTok. It's yeah.
Oh, oh my
You talk about
god.
like
Oh my god.
uploading something. I'm like uploading. I'm sweating. I'm like, oh, here we
Yeah.
go. Everybody's
Oh
gonna
my
see it.
god. Oh my god.
And
That's so awesome.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
sold out.
god.
I'm like anything for clickbait. Here we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Hell
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
But anyway, this has been a fun interview. That was really fun.
yeah. This has been super fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to hearing what you guys release in the new year, and hopefully you guys release a cassette tape.
Hey, yeah, definitely.
And
I'm
much
gonna talk to
more.
the guys about that. Yeah, that's great. No, I definitely am gonna talk to them about, and we will send you one for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Sweet.
yes, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. That
Well,
sounds
well, good,
awesome.
good luck on your show tomorrow, the House of Blues. Right? That's tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Very
Thank you
cool.
so much. Thank you. It's gonna be very fun in Anaheim, and we're really excited. So, yep. It just
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't played there, so I'm excited about it.
Are you
It's
playing
gonna
any
be
cover
definitely a
songs?
treat. Yeah, we actually play, and this is actually one that I think our version is really cool, and we definitely want to release is "You Ought to Know" by Alanis Morissette.
Oh,
And
cool.
but it's actually like it's much darker and just like a total different take on the song than um how it is originally. So it's we've definitely made it our own. And so yeah, I'd love for you to hear that one. We have actually like a handful of other ideas that we want to do as far as cover songs, because there's like a bunch of them that we are like, oh, we should do that one and make that like totally our own sound. And so
Hmm.
there's gonna be more than that one, but that one is like obviously we wrote that, we totally changed everything in it. It's really, I think it's really cool. So that's another one we
Oh,
definitely
that's so cool.
do want to release. Yeah, 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 totally, for sure. So when
I
we
look
do,
forward to
I will
hearing that.
definitely send it to you. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yes,
for
please.
sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yes. Okay, I definitely will. I
Well,
will.
well, Rainey, I appreciate you giving up your time and talking to me. That's cool.
No, I thought this was awesome, and thank you for having me. This has been a blast, and I'm very honored.
And I
So
gotta thank Dane and Josh. I gotta give them a shout out because they kind of
yes.
yeah, linked us up. And Kimball, he was on the interview. Kimball's awesome. He was on the
Yeah.
interview you guys did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Dane and Josh have been amazing, and they've been so cool and just really trying to help us out and supporting us in any way. And Kemble
Oh
is
yeah.
cool, so cool. And yeah, we definitely got to give a shout out to them. So I appreciate
Oh,
it.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Rainey. Well, I appreciate it.
All
This
right.
is awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had a blast, and yeah, we'll talk soon.